Hello TFMG viewers, hope you all are having a wonderful day. The Fashion Media Group is India's first and only business platform that delivers news pertaining to the Indian fashion industry. As part of our campaign #Women in Power, we wanted to voice out the opinions of such strong female entrepreneurs who did not let anyone or anything stop them from achieving their dreams. On that note, I am pleased to announce Aanchal Saini, CEO of Flyrobe and founder of Rent It Bae. Flyrobe is a rental fashion platform that specializes in wedding clothing. People can now have access to their fashion favorites at just a fraction of the cost. So, thank you for joining us today, Aanchal. A very warm welcome to you. Um, I'm really intrigued to know, Aanchal, how did you get into the rental fashion industry back then, especially when it wasn't as, famous as it is now, and especially you being a lawyer by profession at the time.
Thanks, Arshika. I'm glad to be here on the platform. So Arshika, my journey I always say that my journey hasn't been that of a boring corporate job that, I was so bored with my work and I was looking for something else. No, I was really excited what I was doing. I was flying. I was having a lot of fun. But, I understood the problem that women had. Like, we are always mocked that, our
Okay,
closet is full, yet we have nothing to wear, which is true. The problem is that everything in the closet has been worn once. So we don't have new outfits to wear every time we go out. So that's the problem that
true,
women face. And
true.
with all honesty, when we started the business, our approach was very narrow. I was not thinking of the big market. I was just thinking about Western wear rentals for women. That's how
Okay,
we started the business. Then I partnered with my partners and then we got technology involved. We understood that there's, of course, need. What if, a dress could come to you before your evening out, you wear it, and then it magically goes away. You don't have to store it, you don't have to clean it, and every time you get a new outfit for those nice pictures for social media. So
right.
this is what we were thinking then. But eventually, obviously, when we deep dived into the business, started, put in some funds, we understood that the market is huge. An entire journey of 7 years of Flyrobe in the fashion rental space, understanding the consumer, all of those things. So ultimately, now we understand it's an omni-channel business, online plus offline, and we were online first because obviously we want to
Right.
reach the masses. And then the product category sort of changed along the way. So it's more of occasion wear, which is a more rentable asset for men and women both.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's been like a crisp of what we've been doing.
Okay. So how long did it take for you to launch Rent It Bae initially, all the time that went into research and finally it took shape and you launched? And how long before, you actually saw it perform and saw potential that, now I can go to the next step?
So it was 1 year's work.
Okay.
And in all honesty, before that, before Rent It Bae also, we and with the same partners had launched another food related business,
Okay.
and that we were parallelly doing it. So all of us were doing our own work, and parallelly we started a business. And then that is when we understood 3 months down the line we had to close that, and we understood that you can't do two, you can't swing into both.
True,
So
true.
when the idea of the fashion rentals came, I immediately quit everything what I was doing. I had to jump in full time, you know, work day and night, and be in one space all the time.
Okay.
So 1 year it was back work because we had to do the research, technology building, and then we commenced. And obviously, it's a consumer mindset change business. We were then
True.
telling people to rent. People didn't understand what rental clothing means. The day we launched our website with some little bit of Facebook advertisements, etc., within an hour, I think, Asha, we received about 20 orders, and we were like really shocked that it's too new for people to understand. And you know what? Everybody thought that they've bought those products in that rental amount.
Oh,
Then pull
okay.
the website down, then put everything rent on the face of it, because
Okay.
initially we were obviously for any consumer to try a new service, your ticket size, your amount has to be really really small, and the service has to be really really grand. So
Right.
like for an order, what say like somebody's renting a guest dress, so order, and the amount of the MRP of the dress is about 10,000, and we are renting it for 300 rupees. For that 300 rupees, a delivery person used to travel say about 10-20 kilometers, deliver the product freshly, we would wait for the consumer to try. We would carry an extra size. She would try both sizes, whatever fits her
Okay.
better. A guy would take out a portable steam iron it right there, and then hang it there and then move out of the house. So this is the kind of service we provided so that the rental mindset comes in the picture.
That's
So that's
incredible.
how it started. And in terms of categories also, being in this business, I've experimented with a lot of categories: Western wear renting, jewelry, luxury handbags, luxury sunglasses, so many things you experimented with. Subscription model, like a monthly model where you pay a
Yeah.
certain amount and then you get a free flow of unlimited clothes the entire month. So we've experimented with a lot of categories and eventually wanted to turn the business profitable and stuck with the occasion wear category. But of
Okay.
course, in the future, we can definitely get those back, the
As in
categories
when
and
the requirement comes. Yeah.
yeah, of course, of course.
So do you think, only big designer labels rent out like quickly because everyone knows a Sabyasachi or a, Manish Malhotra lehenga, but maybe smaller labels or, things which aren't that famous. So do they also get rented out or no?
They do. So, of course, the big designer labels everybody has this craze for. And for
Exactly.
lesser known labels, it's about the beauty of the product and the value of the product.
Okay.
It's a Sabyasachi file, it's 5 lakh rupees. Everybody understands that I'm getting it for 10%, okay, value for money. But, if it's a 1 lakh rupee lehenga, it's maybe not by a very, very known designer, but it's a beautiful lehenga. And people understand, the value of the product. It's an 1 lakh rupee lehenga. I'm getting to wear it for my wedding day for 10,000 rupees. I'm saving that 90,000 rupees. Why not?
Right. That's true. Okay. So, actually, unfortunately, the pandemic hit right after your acquisition of Flyrobe, right? So, I
Right.
mean, how did you manage to survive and bounce back out of it?
So, Ashika, it was right after the acquisition of Flyrobe. So, with Rent It Bae, when we acquired Flyrobe, the plans that we wanted to do with Rent It Bae, the same journey continued, but of course, in a bigger fashion, and we
Right.
got access to larger consumer base. So, as Rent It Bae, we always wanted to just open 2 stores of our own, and then we wanted to move to a franchise model.
Okay.
uh, with Flyrobe, of course, it's the same journey, and we realized that the so many the millions of dollars have gone into marketing. We've built a good consumer base pan India. So next is stores, and stores have been a hit for us. The store
Okay.
model has been really good because um, see, online, of course, people discover us online, and then they come to the store for the big functions, like my wedding lehenga. I want to really try, unless I'm an
Touch
NRI.
and feel. Yeah. Touch
Touch and
and feel
feel
is
really
there.
matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, I'm an NRI, I'm just moving to the country and, that's the time I'm getting married. So I'm definitely booking it online. So in March 2020, the first week only, we opened our first franchise with about 7, 8 franchises in line, in the pipeline. And Bangalore is the Flyrobe franchise, first franchise store. And unfortunately, obviously, the pandemic hit, but I'm so proud to state that even despite COVID, we were profitable because
Okay.
uh, the model is such, and plus COVID initially obviously impacted us majorly, like initial months, because we were completely wedding based service,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
we did not know how to run a business without revenues, like without earning anything. We had no idea what to do, but understood, of course, that you have to, the ship has to go small now. So we had to take some brutal calls, close some stores, lay off some people, make it a little smaller. But in the entire journey of Flyrobe today, I'm very proud to say that we are profitable. We are
Okay.
on our own, we are profitable. The franchise stores are profitable, and it's really good time for us to uh,
Expand more.
enroll enroll we commence basically roll out a franchise plan now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
COVID, Ashika, COVID has been a disaster, obviously, initially, but then eventually uh, it made us stronger in terms of unit economics, profitability, mindset changes. Like, we, as a sustainable company, have been talking about sustainability since a decade. But the
Right.
consumer has started to talk about mindful consumption and has been a little bit conscious of what they buy now, because we've spent so much time at home and we don't want to clutter our houses anymore.
Exactly.
Whatever there, instead of buying 20 outfits, people would like to buy 5 good outfits.
Right, right.
That has, that kind of mindset has started to change from, I see a lot of users, like the young guys, talking about these things, which they did not care earlier. Secondly, I don't know if you've heard of our C2C model, which is a consumer to consumer model. So
Yes.
Flyrobe, in terms of inventory, we have our own inventory, and then we have a marketplace inventory. Marketplace inventory again has two parts, where it's a designer owned inventory or a consumer owned inventory. For example, you have a Sabyasachi with you, and or any designer lehenga, which is an expensive lehenga, and you're done. You wore it for a wedding, and now it's an NPA. You're not doing anything with it, so you can
Right.
put that asset to use via Flyrobe and make rental money out of it. You can
Okay.
basically earn out of it. So this
Okay.
model has been pretty popular since 3 years, but uh, before COVID, the kind of products you were getting were easily 1 year old.
Okay.
Like, I got married a year old, a year ago. Now I realize that I haven't worn that for 1 year. What do I do with it? Might as well give it out. Today, we are getting products as new as 4 days old. She got married 4 days ago and she thinks, okay, I can put this to use here, make money, take it right away. I don't want to clutter
Right.
my house.
Re-earn
So,
the cost of the wedding.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
this completely changes the game for us as a company, because we were just one side in the society earlier, like the supply side. Uh, but now we are also taking from the society, that,
Right.
we are circulating in a larger fashion. Earlier, we were just using our assets to, you know, uh, put to use, but now we are circulating in a larger size. And imagine the kind of products Indians hoard, and
Yeah.
there's so much inventory, and that can be really circulated well. So I feel that's a way big step ahead in terms of sustainability, and for us also it makes us like an asset light model, which is a
True.
huge achievement.
So, Atul, how did you like get designers on board initially? Like today, they know that, it's another sales channel for them. But back then, when you were new and the industry was new, so how did you like source inventory at that time from them?
Initially it was definitely challenging. We were keeping very less margins, we were giving as much as possible to them. We had an entire sales team
Okay.
completely trying to pitch designers on that rental model. So always it was, we were also spending a lot of marketing money on promoting their labels. So
Right,
that
right.
gave us another angle. So one is, of course, we were telling them that, you have your sample collection. If you are going to buy, say you're going to designer to buy a 2 lakh rupee lehenga, you're not buying off the shelf. You're telling them, okay, fine, I like this, but you make it in like
Make it for
little
me. Yeah.
little
Yeah.
pink, or you pick a new one. So the sample collection was always, they were not making money out of the sample collection. So initially we used to tell them, why don't you put the sample collection and then test the waters. And
Okay.
also the brand name gets visibility.
Right,
Something is
right,
worth little. So their
right.
brand name would get visibility. And initially Flyrobe used to obviously spend a lot of money on marketing, because you're trying to reach out to people. So eventually that marketing ripple effect goes to them as well.
Right,
So
right.
these were few factors that we sort of got designers on board. And eventually, of course, when the business started to flow, they started to make money also. So it made sense.
Okay, okay. So it worked out eventually with a lot of convincing.
Initially, it was a challenge, and we were
Yeah,
keeping very less margin. So obviously, when it became, so now, over years, we also have to, as a company, we can't, we have to think about profitability.
true, true.
And so that balance became better with the marketplace model, and that's how we are profitable today.
So actually, which cities do you feel in India are performing the best at the moment, either online or, in store?
So both. I think the metros are doing very well. Delhi, Mumbai, of course, are doing very, very
Okay.
well. Delhi, if you talk about Gurgaon, a lot of customers we have from Gurgaon. Smaller cities like Jaipur, Ludhiana, these cities are doing very, very well. Tier 2 cities have a lot of demand. And over years, like maybe like a couple of years, the growth of social media has grown really, really high in those smaller
Right,
cities.
right,
So now
right.
people know what Alia Bhatt is wearing, and they want to wear that lehenga, and availability is a problem. They have the
Okay,
money, but availability is a problem in the city. And what if, sort
true.
of we can the product available without them spending that much money? So of course, online has become pretty good for us now. So we are
Okay,
servicing to 30 plus cities online, and most of we got very, very good response. So
Okay,
that's the
okay.
idea of opening stores now, because the user base is already there in the city. They just need a place that they can come and see and physically feel it.
That's the issue with tier two and tier three cities, like everywhere in every business, because people don't have access. They have the means and money to spend, but not knowing where to spend it is the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a great step to expansion as well, and considering that sort of a market in the long run. Um,
Absolutely.
so, Achal, what is your best seller? Like, is there like a particular designer which is always sold out or which is always on demand? People are crazy for it. So, is there something like that?
Yeah, see, the Shantanu Nikhils and the Sabyasachi's are definitely always sold out.
Okay,
You
okay,
know, sometimes I feel, as a rental mindset, those are highly ticket priced. Like 50,000, 40,000 is the rent for a particular lehenga. But again, it's like, I feel the mindset is, my father's given me 2 lakh rupees as a budget for my wedding lehenga. Uh, Sabyasachi is costing 5 lakh rupees. And I can rent it for 50,000. I still save that 1.5 lakhs. So
exactly,
they spend that money. So
exactly.
these are obviously doing very well. Surprisingly, like for from an outside person, the men's collection does very well for us. Like
Okay, okay.
we seem to be like completely a women's wear brand, but our revenues are 50-50. So there's a lot of men renting fashion, which is basically mostly wedding wear, of course, the
Okay.
groom collection and Indo-Westerns. Uh, and the logic is, of course, men are emotionally not attached to their clothing, and they're adopters
Right.
of technology. They want to try things faster. So, and bridal collection, of course, bride and groom collection does very well. And such collection lasts during this COVID only. We launched a pre-wedding collection, like
Okay.
basically for pre-wedding shoots. People rent out those tail gowns with that 10, no, 5, 10, 8 meter tail hanging in. Because of course budgets are, the number of occasions have gone less. The young couple, they really want to do more things on their wedding, so
Exactly.
that pre-wedding photo shoot has become like a mandatory
Yeah,
function.
it's a must now.
Now it's a must. So even the
Yeah.
guys would rent out heroes for that. The girls would rent out the ball gowns.
Okay.
So that kind of products are doing very, very well for us. And of course, wedding guest is always something that we've done pretty decently good. And online business also for wedding guest lehengas is pretty good.
Okay, okay. That's great to know. So, Achal, have there been any instances, personally where you were like the only woman in the room, and was it intimidating? Because as sad as it is, there are lesser females in, leadership positions even in 2022.
Yes, Ashika, there have been instances, and I somehow feel that though maybe it's sort of wrong to say it, but being a lawyer helps, and it helps
Okay,
a lot.
okay,
Um, as soon as there's a room full of men, maybe an investor meeting, or maybe you're pitching to an investor, and all of a sudden, when that fact comes to the knowledge of the people on the table that this girl is a lawyer, they give me more attention. They listen to
okay.
me,
They
which
take you
is
more
wrong.
seriously.
Yeah, which is, I feel, which is completely wrong, because lawyer or not lawyer, I am a business owner. I am here on the table talking about my business. I need to be
Right,
heard, full stop.
right.
But sort of, I've always got that privilege of okay, anybody who, even like for example vendors, okay, uh, with obviously educated people, when you're talking to them, I haven't faced much discrimination. But
Okay.
with sometimes with vendors, when you're sitting and having a negotiation, and they're always looking for वो भी तो साथ partner होंगे ना, वो उनसे बात करते टाइप. So
Okay,
you get that
okay.
feeling, hello, I am doing
I'm
this, इधर बैठ
here.
जाओ आराम से, है
Right,
ना?
right.
Yeah. So I always I've always felt that that label of she's a lawyer also has helped me a lot. But
Okay.
both ways, and I think I've been luckily surrounded by good people that I haven't faced any major discrimination, or major incidents haven't happened much. And
Okay.
that's it. And I think obviously, coming from the legal background, especially the litigating part, not the corporate, so it makes you a little more bold and strong. And you anyways try to just put across strongly your points, etc.
Right. You don't get intimidated easily
You don't
with
because
it.
you've seen, you've seen quotes in your initial years, and then that gives you like
Right.
a lot of power.
Okay. So actually, how have your priorities shifted, like since when you started to now? Is there a big change in the mindset, or in even the business side of it?
In terms, of course, from the consumer point of view, oh yes, I have seen immense change,
Okay.
including like in a personal, this thing that initially when I started this business, we were renting stuff, and my friends used to say, "Oh my God, this is such an unique thing. You're doing sustainable stuff, so cool, all that," but they would not rent. They would not rent
Okay.
from me. They would go and buy. This is I'm
Okay.
talking about 7 years ago. But today, my friends they rent, so which
Okay.
means that people around me are renting. So the mindset has changed. Like it's not the affordability part. I can definitely afford to buy a product, but I think it's more sensible to rent it out. It's like Uber, right? You're taking a Uber not because you can't afford to buy a car, but sometimes you
Right.
feel it's more practical. I don't want to invest in
It's
an
more
asset which is
convenient. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that mindset, it took us years.
Okay.
And I always tell everybody, when we started this business, no matter how much marketing money you put in this business, initially you can't get like super results in 2 years. No, it's a
Hmm.
consumer mind change business. It takes a decade. And now 7 years down the line, I feel that organic conversions are happening. For
Okay.
our business, CAC, which is a customer acquisition cost, is really, really high. To make a user initially, for that 300 rupee order that I was talking about, it took us 2,700 rupees to get that 300 rupee order. We used to
Okay.
spend that much money.
Okay.
So over years, that CAC has gone down. Today, organic conversion, which is without spending much, we're able to get users, is very, very high. So that time period is required for people to understand rentals. And it's not for us, the consumer is not like, okay, fine, market mein ja rahe hain, they see a flyer up, I'd come to buy a lehenga, I'll just walk inside the Flyrobe store and rent it
Hmm.
out. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
make them assets at home. They're looking at
Hmm.
Flyrobe online. Then they're thinking, okay, this makes sense. Might as well just go to the store and test it out. Try it.
Test it out. Right. Right.
So, so for us, and even in the even if somebody just walks inside the stores, the first visit is just looking around. They are not making a purchase, but that looking around is also very important for us. So our staff is very differently trained.
Okay.
That you have to tell them the concept of rental, explain them
Okay.
pretty well. They won't come now. They'll come when they need it the next time because today
Right.
they probably bought it. So
Right.
which
Right.
means
Right.
we have a season for us, like wedding season one, second season. But that change is happening, which means some number of years.
Okay. And basically, you get on their radar, and word of mouth is a
Of
very big thing
course.
in India.
Absolutely.
So,
And word
yeah.
of mouth also starts happening now. I
Yes.
remember
Yes. Yes.
initially we used to feel that our consumer wasn't talking about renting. They were
It was
renting,
a
but they didn't
hush
want people
hush
to
thing.
know. Yeah, completely hush hush. Like
Yeah.
fine, I'm wearing a brand. We were doing that time we were doing a lot of luxury handbags also. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm carrying like say a Chloe bag, but that I don't want to talk about that it's rented.
Right. Right. So that is that you've seen change a lot now.
Of course,
That mindset.
and that completely, we see it like that because people tag us on social media. They're
Yeah.
wearing an outfit now, they just quickly tag Flyrobe. So, of course, they're open about it, they don't care. And
Yeah. Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time you take a new one,
Okay.
every time they're attending a wedding, you take a new lehenga. Why to invest 30, 40, 50,000 rupees and then keep wearing the same thing again and again?
You might just travel, in that amount, the money they're
Oh, yeah,
spending.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Initially, Arshika, we used to see conversations between like a mother and a daughter when they're walking inside a Flyrobe store.
Okay.
So, the mother's mindset would be, 1 lakh rupee लेंगा और यहाँ पे तो 10-15 हजार में हो रहा है. So
Hmm.
rest of the money we put invest in gold. We'll buy some gold or some good asset for the girl. And the
Okay.
girl is thinking, instead of Thailand, I'll go to Europe or I'll go to a better country for a honeymoon. Why do waste money on a
On
bridal?
jewelry.
I'm going
Yeah.
to wear one. You take a
Yeah.
pretty one, get pictures done, have a fantastic day, and just return it.
Yes. 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 So I guess that would be, a conversation between me and my mom also. If we ever stepped in there, I mean, even I would
Absolutely.
prefer traveling over owning so much, hoarding so much
Yes, yes,
over
yes,
and
you
over
have
again.
to.
So, what is next for Flyrobe? Like, do you plan on, experimenting with virtual reality or things like that? Because that is a very big next step for the fashion industry and where it's heading. So, are there any plans related to that?
So, Ashika, our first experimental with virtual reality was 2018
In store, right?
in store. Yes,
You created some space.
yes,
I
we
remember. Yeah.
2018 was our first experiment, and it was good. It was fantastic then, and we've obviously technologically we've been very strong since the beginning, since the inception.
Okay.
We've done a lot of features at the store. We keep experimenting things, and last our virtual experiment, the pilot was pretty successful, where we were like sort of reducing physical trials. We were
Okay.
doing it. We did it in this in store, but of course, probably it's time to put it in the app now. So our last pilot was that we invited like about 100 bloggers, influencers, and we had like a huge screen, and logically that instead of trying maybe 20 lehengas, you can just try on the screen. You can try 20
Okay.
lehengas on the screen. And then we added some features which were like when a woman is trying an outfit for a wedding, there are just two things on her mind apart from the outfit: what jewelry I'm going to wear, and second, what hairstyle I'll do. I have three functions, so I'm going to obviously
Change
experiment with
it up.
my hair. Yeah, so we added those features too. With the lehenga you
Okay.
can switch on off your keep changing your hairstyles, keep changing your jewelry, and then see how you
Sounds
look, and
sounds like
turn
a
it like a
game.
yeah, yeah.
Those dress up
So
games.
yes, it was pretty exciting, and
Yeah.
it was a good pilot that we did. So next in line would be technologically that we would be doing that on the app as well.
Okay.
So more so now for us, of course, this as technologically next tech step would be virtual reality on the app, and physical would be franchise stores,
Okay.
franchise.
Okay. That's wonderful to know. We'll be looking forward to, what next space you create and how you enchant the customers. So, just to end on a brighter note, what message would you like to share with, other fellow entrepreneurs or women who just want to start their businesses or are already doing it?
Just that keep at it, keep going. And I used to hear this, that keep going, never give up. But never give up wala feeling tab aata hai when the situation is really tight. And that
Right.
really happens. It happens that there would be a lot of pressure. Okay, fine, so much this thing, business, vendors, employees, investors, so much happening. Then sometimes you feel frustrated. Fine, I'll just leave this and just go back to my law and make that money much more than what I'm getting here. But don't give up. Keep at it. Sometimes even your family, family's been the biggest support system, but sometimes when they also see you so much pressurized, they would like you just leave everything and do
Right.
whatever
Right.
makes you happy, etc. But do not give up. Just keep at it. Eventually things fall in place. And my 100% learning is, there are down moments. Of course, everybody has it, but you just overcome. And then maybe like next year, you have some good stories to tell. So
Right.
just keep at it. Keep going, keep going. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us your valuable time and insights into the industry.
Thank you, Arshika. I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.